Hi guys. Again, I just want to let you know that now we are going to be moving on to chapter 2. So that is where we're going to start off with today. I'm going to try and get as many in as I can in this Zoom session, so I can make this all, maybe 1 or 2 lesson videos only for this first week. Now that everyone's going to be coming back 4 days a week, this is what I'm going to have you do. I'm only going to have 3 lessons now a week to start off with, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I'm only going to have 3 lessons a week, and then the other thing we're going to have kids do is study their multiplication facts, and then do 1 iReady lesson a week as well. So that's the only other things that I'm going to be making kids do this at this time. If everything goes well, then I'll up it a little bit more and maybe do 4 lessons a week. But for right now, I want to really start digging into multiplication facts and starting off small with only 3 lessons a week yet. So that is what I'm going to be doing. When we are going to be starting off, I don't like a lot of this book. So I'm going to be real honest. I'm going to change up a lot of things in this chapter because I don't like the way that this book is trying to teach you. I think it's really not necessary, some of the things. So I'm going to be taking out some of the things that are just not necessary and go right on into it. Now on 1.8, I've already taught you guys how to divide and all the steps to division. So that was in 1.8. I'm just going to quickly, briefly go over those steps so that you have it in this book. So you don't have to keep referring to lesson 1.8 for the steps. I'm going to do it again here, but I'm going to be switching up quite a bit of the things that you need to do. So I'm going to turn around my screen so you guys can see what I am doing. All right, so this is going to be the first lesson. And I really don't like this lesson at all because it wants us to place the first digit and then see how, if it's in the hundreds and the thousands, if it's in the tens. I think it is really no need for this. So we are just going to simply work on our division on this lesson, and we're not going to just worry about the first digit. We're going to worry about the full answer. So it says Tanya has 8 purple daisies. In all, she counts 128 petals on the flower. If each flower has the same number of petals, how many petals are in one flower? All right, so this is the thing that we need to do over here, is underline the sentence that tells you what you are trying to find. So if you go back in here, you have to figure out what you are trying to find. Well, look at probably what you're trying to find is going to be the question. So it wants us to know how many petals are on one flower. So then it says circle the numbers that we need to use. Well, it says right here that she has 8 flowers, 8 purple daisies, and she counts a total of 128 petals on all of those flowers. So they just want to know just one. This is for all 8. We just want to know one flower. So how will we use these numbers to solve the problem? Well, to solve the problem, we would have to take the total amount of petals, which was 128, and then we're going to divide it amongst how many daisies she counted. So this is going to give us how much is just in one flower. So real quick, I'm going to, by the way, I don't like any of these ways that it's trying to show you, so that is all out. I'm going to have you right off to the side over here. So the steps are a silly saying, because you guys all remember silly things. So dead, monkeys, smell, crazy, bad. Oh, the other thing, and then whenever you have that, you start up at the top. So always, if you don't know your multiplication facts, have a multiplication chart sitting here ready to go, so you have something to refer back to, just so that you guys are getting the steps on how to do this. And some people write big and may need an extra sheet of paper just in case, because sometimes they don't give you a lot of space to do your work. So you can always have a extra paper ready as well. So on dead, the D in dead stands for divide. That's going to be your first step. Then monkeys, the next step is multiplication. Then smell, the next step is subtract. That's what the S stands for. The C in crazy stands for check. And the B in bad stands for bring down. And whenever you bring down, you start up at the top again, so that it is a cycle. All right, so then we are going to find out what the answer is. So we're going to put, of course, what is listed first needs to go into the box. So in this case, 128. And we are going to divide it amongst 8 flowers. So can 8 go into 1? So that means go by 8s. Are you ever going to make it to 1? No, it is too small. 1 is too small because it can't even go in once. Now, can at least 1 8 go into 12? So what it's asking is, how many 8s can go into 12 without going over 12? Well, it can go in at least 1 time because that's only 8. But can it go into 2 times? No, it cannot, because it is too big, because you could only go up to 12. So since it is too big to go to 16, you could only go in 1 time. So it cannot go into it once, but it can go in to 12 1 time. So you see how I'm putting it above the 2, saying yes, it can go into 12. And I made sure to put an X above the 1, saying it can't go into the 1. So now we just divided, so now we multiply. So you're going to multiply 1 times 8 is 8. You are going to subtract, and that would be 4. Then you check. What you check for is making sure that divisor is, that the thing that you subtracted is smaller than your divisor. And since it is, that means that we're on the right path. This number should always be smaller than your divisor. So it is. So then, is there a number to bring down? Yes, we have a number to bring down, so we're going to bring it on down. And then when you bring down, you start back up at the top. Now it is how many 8s can go into 48. So now you got to come over and see, okay, how many 8s can go into 48? Well, it can go in evenly into 48 6 times. So therefore, our number was 6. It can go in 6 times. So now we multiply. 6 times 8 is 48. Then you subtract, and that would be 0. So therefore, each flower has 16 petals. All right, so that is how you do that. All right, now I'm going again to take away the whole first digit part of it. It does not matter what the first digit is. We need to worry about how, what the true answer is to this. So in this case, we're going to just do it off to the side. Again, you could always have this on every single problem to remind you what the steps are. So you're going to see me just do dead, monkey, smell, crazy, bad, and then I'm going to loop it up to remind me of the steps. And then in this one, it says, here is the problem. So we're going to put that problem down. I have enough space over here to do it. And then this one is a 5. Okay, now going by 5s, can 5 go into 4 at least once? Well, you should be saying no. 4 is too small, so it can't even go in once. So that is a no. Then you go in over here. How many 5s can go into 42? Again, you can refer back to see how many times it could go into as close to 42 as possible without going over. Oh, 40 is getting very close without going over 42. And then 45 is too much. So therefore, how many times can 8 go into 42 without going over 42? That would be 8 times. So then this is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. You're going to subtract it. That would be 2. Then you check it. Yes, it is smaller. So then I can bring down my next number. Remember, you can only bring down one number at a time. So it's just one time now. So now that I brought down a number, now I start back at the top. Now it's how many 5s can go into 23 now. So how many 5s can get as close to 23 without going over 23? 25 is going over 23. So then the one before it is 4 times. So it will go in 4 times. So you see how I'm going to put that above the 3, saying that it can go into that 3, that 23, 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract it, that would be 3. Then I can check, yes, it is good. Bring down my 6. So then I got to see how many 5s can go in to 36 without going over 36. So going by 5s to 36 without going over 36, the closest I can get is 35, and that is 7 times. So I'm going to put a 7 up here. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract, that would be a 1. Now I just subtracted, I checked it, it is smaller. Do I have anything to bring down? No, I do not. So therefore, in this case, there is a remainder. The remainder is 1, and you can write it like this. However, there is another way to write this, and I do want you all to know this because eventually this is all that they want you to do. Right now, they are okay with you writing it 847 remainder 1, but I know later on this year they're going to want you to change this remainder into a fraction, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's actually quite easy. So yes, for now this one is correct. Or you could have said the whole number, which is 847. It goes in 847 times total. But then you're going to have to make the remainder a fraction. And how do you do that is the following. What I say is you do a J method. So I always use this top one, and then I make like a J. So it's whatever numbers are at the bottom here and then out here. So you're going to make like a J. And this is how you make it. It's going to be 847, and then it is going to be a remainder of 1 over the divisor, which is 5. So you could also have said 847 and 1/5 is what it is, 1 over 5. So that is how you start making the remainder an actual fraction. And it is okay to start doing it like this because this is eventually the only way that they're going to be accepting it. But you can start writing it like this for now. So I will accept either of these two. So either of these two would have been the correct way to say that. And that's only if you have a remainder is when you have to put it into a fraction form. If there is no remainder, you don't have to say 0 over 5 or whatever the remainder is over the divisor. All right, we're going to do more. All right, so now again, keep in mind it is dead monkeys smell crazy bad, and this is the only thing that I want you to really work on is just the method itself. We will don't worry about doing the first digit. So if it says first digit, we're not doing that way. All right, so the first thing, can a 4 go into 4? So going by 4s, can at least a 4 go into 4? Yes, it can go in one time. So I'm going to put a 1 up here. 1 times 4 is 4. We're going to subtract. That is 0. Check it. Yes, we are smaller than my divisor, so now I can bring down my next number. Now that I brought down the next number, remember I start back up at the top. How many 4s can go into a 5? So how many 4s can go into 5 without going over 5? Well, it can go in once, but that is going over 5, so that is too big. So therefore, it could only go in one time. So I'm going to put that 1 above that number I just brought down, which is a 5. Then you go 1 times 4 is 4. Then you subtract, and that would be 1 time. Then check it. We are okay. So then we're going to bring down the next number, which is a 7. Then how many 4s can now go into as close to 17 as possible without going over 17? So going by 4s, close to 17 as possible. That's as close as I'm going to get. And this one is going over. So it will only go in 4 times. So 4 times 4, if you looked on that, 4 times 4 comes out to be 16. So we're going to put the 16 down here, subtract, and that would be 1 remaining. Then check it. We are okay. There are no more numbers. So therefore, I would have accepted 114 remainder 1. Or if you want to start getting used to it, you can start getting used to it right now because this is what you're going to constantly be doing. You can change it into a fraction. And how you do that is you still keep your 114, which is your answer up here, but then you do the J method, and it is whatever the remainder is, which is a 1. And then you're going to put it over the divisor, which is a 4. So, or the answer could have been 114 and 1/4. So either of these two ways is how I would accept your homework. You could do either of these two ways. Just remember, you're going to have to start doing this eventually. So it's always good to start doing it now, but it is completely up to you which one you want to do for now. All right, next, still same thing. I'm just going to use this over here. So the first thing I got to do is I'm going to divide. Can 5 go into 1? And you should say, no, it is too small. No 5s can go into 1. Can at least one 5 go into 10? And this is where you should be like, yes, at least one 5 can go into 10. So actually, 2 5s can go into 10 evenly. So we're going to put up 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Then you're going to subtract. That would be 0. Then check it. We're okay. Bring down your next number, which is a 3. Then after you bring down, remember you got to start back up at the top. Now it's saying how many 5s can go into 3? So how many 5s can go into 3? Uh-oh. I can't have any go into 3 because it is too small. 3 is too small to even go in once. So this is what you got to do in these cases. You have to say it can't go in, not even once. It can go in 0 times. So you have to put a 0 up here saying it can go in 0 times, none. But you still have to put up a placeholder up here saying it can't go in any of the times. You cannot just skip it and move on. You have to put up a number up here. So I'm going to say it goes in 0 times. So now you just do it. 0 times 5 is 0. Subtract, that would be 3. Check it. We are good. Now we can bring down the next number. Now how many 5s can go into 35? So how many 5s can go as close to 35 without going over? Oh, it goes evenly in 7 times. So it is a 7, and it goes in evenly 7 times. So our answer comes out to be 207, and there is no remainder. So like I said, If there is no remainder, you don't have to say remainder 0 or 0 over 5. You just keep it 207. There is no reason for you to tell me anything else. The only time you give me something else if there is a remainder. All right, so next one. Now we are talking about 8. Can 8 go into 1? You should be saying, nope, 1 is too small. Can't even go in ones. Can at least 1 8 go into 17? So if you look over here, going by 8s, as close to 17 without going over, it is 2 times. So you can go in twice. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract, that would be 1. Check it, we are good. Bring down your next number. How many 8s can go into 16? We just did that. That was 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract, that would be 0. Check it, we are good. Is there another number to bring down? Yes, there is a 6. Now, here's the next thing. Now it is saying, now we have to start all the way up at the top and divide again. How many 8s can go into 6? Well, 8 is much bigger than 6, so it can't even go in ones. So we have to come up here and say it goes in 0 times. Again, if it can't go in, you have to have the number 0 listed and put it up there. It can't go in at all, so it goes in 0 times. So then you just keep going. 0 times 8 is 0, which has a remainder of 6. Check it, we are okay. Is there any more numbers? No, there are not. So you could have kept the number 220 and put it an R6 next to it, or you could use the new way that I'm showing that you will have to eventually do all the time, so you might as well start learning it now, and have 220, and then the remainder, the fraction is going to be whatever is the remainder, which is a 6. Just use a J, and then it is going to tell you your divisor down here, 20 and 6/8. Now, listen very carefully, and for those of you that have your parents watching this right now as well, some of your parents will know that this is not in the simplest form as what they call it, saying that it's the smallest numbers to bring it down. I'm going to tell you right now, 5th grade standards do not force people to bring it down to its simplest form. And we'll talk more about this in chapter 6, but I'm not going to be talking about it much right now. But do know that this 6/8 can be brought down even smaller, but it's too early yet for me to even go over it. Also, it is something that is not necessary this year. So if this was a state test question, they would have accepted this, and it wouldn't have to be brought down to smallest terms anyway. They would still accept this as an answer. So I'm just letting your parents know right now that this is an acceptable answer, and they would accept this, and it does not need to be reduced down. So do let your parents know that they do not need to reduce the fraction down this year. That is actually next year's standard. So I'm not really going to force that on people, because a lot of people make a lot of mistakes when they are trying to reduce the number and make a right answer then wrong, because they did something wrong when they were trying to reduce it. So I am good with you just keeping that as your answer, or something that is the same as that answer, I would be good with. So just keep that in mind. I will accept either of these two. All right, next, I want you to try these on your own, and then you can come back after you pause this and try this on your own, and then we'll go over your answers. So I do want you all to stop this and pause it right now and try 4 through 7 on your own, and then you can click play when you are done with this, and then go over it with me and find your mistakes if you had any mistakes. If you didn't, perfect. That means you are understanding this. So please pause it now. All right, so for those of you who that you should have paused it, and we will start going over it right now. So 8 can go into 2. It cannot. It's too small. 8 can go into 27 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. And if you subtract that, that would be a 3. You would check it. Yes, it is smaller, so I can bring down my next number, which is a 5. How many 8s can go into 35 or as close to 35 without going over? It would have been 4 times, which is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. When you subtract, that would be a 3. So your 2 answers to this would have either have been 34 remainder 3, or if those of you who are trying the fraction way, which you will be using all the time once we get to that point, is 34, and it would be 3 over what the divisor is. In this case, it's going to be an 8. So keep that in mind when you are doing these kind of things of the remainder. What it is I will say the quotient, which is the answer up here. Okay, so this is like, keep that in mind. This is like the quotient. And then what you're going to be doing when you're putting it into fraction form is you're going to put the remainder over the divisor. So remainder would be 6 in this case. So here is the perfect one. The quotient in this case would be 220. And then the remainder is going to be 6. And then your divisor will be 8 in this case. And this is always how you set it up. So this is truly how you set up remainders. So that is what you should have had. Now, next one, you could have a 3 go into 4 ones. So as you subtract, that would be 1. Check it, you are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 3s go into 16? That would be 5. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm just doing this really fast because you guys should have already have done this and looked at your multiplication charts for this stuff. You're allowed to do that so that you at least start learning how to do this method without any multiplication errors. So then that would be 1. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your 8. Then how many 3s go into 18? Should have been 6. And then 6 times 3 is 18, which means 0 as a remainder. So the only answer that you needed to put up here was 156 because there is no remainder. So you don't put that down in fraction form. It's just your answer is 156. Next, can 4 go into 3? No, it cannot. Can it go into 32? Yes, it can. 8 times, that would be 32. Subtract, that would be 0. Bring down your 2. How many 4s can go into 2? That would be, that's too small of a number. 2 is too small to even go in once. So it can't go in any time. So therefore, it could only go in 0 times. So 0 times 4 is 0. And that means when you subtract, that would be a 2. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 4s can go into 20? That would be 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20 with nothing remaining. So your answer to this, since there is no remainder, is just 805. And then this one, can 6 go into 6? Yes, that is 1 time. 1 times 6 is 6 with 0 remaining. Check it, we are okay. Bring down a 1. Now, how many 6s can go into 1? Well, it can't go in any, so therefore it goes in 0 times. If it can't go into any, you can't just bring down the next number. You have to say what number. it goes in 0 times. It does not happen. So you put a 0 up here. 0 times 6 is 0. Subtract, that would be a 1. Check it. You are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 8s can go, how many 6s can go into 18? It is 3. 3 times 6 is 18 with no remainder. So therefore, your only answer is 103. All right, next. It says Ryan earned $376 by working for 4 days. If he earned the same amount each day, how much would he earn for working 5 days? Okay, so it is telling us that he earned $376 for 4 days. So we have to figure out what that is per day, and then we can figure out 5 days worth. So let's first figure out what he's going to be making for just 1 day. So for 1 day, we would have to figure that out by dividing 376 divided by 4. Can 4 go into 3? No, it cannot. How about into 37? Well, how many 4s can go into 37? As close to 37 as possible without going over 37. Oh, it would be 9 times. So it would be 9. By the way, if you have like 10 or more, you should have the highest digit that you should have is a 9. The lowest is a 0. If you have a 10, that means you did something wrong here. It means it could have went in 1 time in that first digit if you're having 10. So do keep that in mind. You should go no higher than a digit being 9. That is as high as it's going to get. Otherwise, you did something wrong in the previous number. So 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract that, that would be 1. Check it, we are okay. So bring down your next number. Now, how many 4s will go into 16? So if you go by 4s to 16, up, it goes in evenly 4 times. So 4 times 4 is 16 with nothing remaining. So therefore, he got $94 per day. Okay, but was that the question? How much would he earn for working 5 days? So that was not even the question. The question is, how much would he be working for 5 days? Well, we already know what he's making for 1 day. So how do I figure out 5 days worth? Well, as previously we were talking about in previous lessons, you should know to take that 1 day and then just times it by 5 because there are 5 days. So then we should do this. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry your 2. 5 times 9 is 45. Plus 2 is 47. So therefore, your answer would be $470 for 5 days. That is your final answer. If you want to do more problems, there's always more right here. I'm just not going to be doing it with you. But if you always want more, you could always look at that and have it checked by like a calculator, see if you are correct. That is the way you could do. Also, this one, I am not going to do the question part of it, the first digit of this quotient, but I am going to at least do the problem just for another problem to do. So we can see more division problems. So if you put, you remember the first number always goes into the box. And the second number is always outside. So can 4 go into 2? No, it cannot. So we're going to put an X above it. It's too small. Can at least one 4 go into 25? So how close to 25 can we get without going over? It would be 6 times, because 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract it. That would be 1. Check it. We are good. Bring down your next number. Remember, 1 number at a time. How many 4s can go into as close to 18 as possible? So you can go in close as possible as 16, so that would be 4 times. So 4 times 4 is 16, subtract, that would be 2. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number. So now how many 4s will go into 29? So now you're going to come over here and see how many 4s will go into 29. As close to 29 as possible. Oh, it would be 7. So 7. 7 times 4 is 28 with 1 remaining. Check it. We are okay. Do we have any more numbers? No. So therefore, our answer would either be 647 remainder 1, or if you wanted to do the fraction part, it would be 647 still. But then remember, you put the remainder, which is the 1, on top over the divisor, which in this case is a 4. So this is the proper way to write it as a fraction. 647 and 1/4. All right, next we are going to do some more. Just a couple more here. This one says that Rosa has a garden divided into sections. She has 125 daisy plants, and as she plants an equal number of daisy plants in each of the 3 sections, how many daisy plants will be in each section, and how many daisy plants will be left over? So we're just going to have to, I'm just going to skip all this stuff because they want you to know like how to solve it. They again only want like the, you know, this is just a little too much, too wordy. So in order to do this, we're just going to do it off to the side to figure out what the answer is and then how much is left over. So I'm going to do the work right in here. So it was 125, and we're going to divide it into 3 sections. So can 3 go into 1? No, it cannot. So can it go into 12? Yes, it can go in 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12 with nothing remaining. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number, which is a 5. Then you start back up at the top of Dead Monkeys Smell Bad, which is divide. How many 3s can go into 5? You can only have 1. So 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, that would be 2 remaining. So therefore, the question is, Rosa has how many daisy plants that she can put into equal number of how many sections? So then it says each section has how many plants, and Rosa has how many left over. So I don't like this first part, but each section will have 41 plants, and then how much will be left over? There will be 2 plants left over. All right, so this one says 1 case can hold 3 boxes. Each box, so just 1 box, one of these boxes, can hold 3 binders. How many cases are needed to hold a total of 126 binders? So we're going to do that. Now here's the thing. Remember, each case can hold 3 boxes, but 3 boxes have 3 binders in them. Each box has 3 binders in. So if you are doing this, 1 case has 3 boxes, remember that, but each box has 3 binders in it. So that is actually, 1 case is holding a total of 9 binders. So now in order to figure this out, I would have to divide this all up. And we're not going to do any of this, so I'm actually going to do that over here. So we're going to have to do 126 binders divided amongst 9. So let's go ahead and do that here to figure out what our answer comes out to be. So 126 divided by 9. Can 9 go into 1? No. Can it go into 12? Yes, 1 time. That would be 9. And that would be 3 left over, check it, we are okay. So then you can bring down your next number. How many 9s go into 36? So if you go by 9s to 36, that is 4 times. So 4 times 9 is 36 with nothing remaining. So therefore your answer is 14 cases are needed. Okay, so over here will be your homework. And like always, I'm going to do some with you. So here we go. On this one, remember these steps, silly steps. Dead means divide. Monkeys means multiply. Dead monkeys smell, which means subtract. Crazy, which means check. Bad, which means bring down. And then again, whenever you bring down, you start all over again to the top. So remember to show your work. Some of you are not showing me your work. So make sure that if you are doing it on a separate sheet of paper, that I am seeing that sheet of paper, because I need to see that you guys are doing it and understanding it. Don't just give me an answer. Now, I do understand that they are very small, and they do give you space over here. Now remember, you could always do it on a separate sheet of paper, but you could also always rewrite it right below it as well. You're allowed to do that as well. So can 3 go into 5? Yes, it goes in once. 1 times 3 is 3. That would be a 2 remaining. Check it, we are okay. Bring down your 7. Now, how many 3s will go into 27? 3 will go into 27 9 times, because 9 times 3 is 27 with nothing remaining. You can check it. You are fine. So then you can bring down your next number, which is a 9. Then you start back up at the top. How many 3s will go into 9? That would go in 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9 with nothing remaining. So therefore, your answer is just 193. So you can just box in that answer right there, because you don't have a remainder. You will do number 3 for homework, so you can circle that one. I am going to do 4 with you. So again, if it's not giving you enough space, I'm going to rewrite it. So then remember those steps. You can always put down dead monkeys smell, crazy, bad, just as a reminder as well. So can 9 go into 2? No, it cannot. It is too small. Can at least go in once 20 times? Can at least 9 go into 21 time? And it can. It's big enough. So now we got to figure out how many 9s as close to 20 as possible without going over. This is going over, so therefore it can go in 2 times. 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract 0 minus 8. You can't do that. So then you borrow a 10. So then 10 minus 8 is 2. Check it. You are okay. Bring down your next number. Then now you're going to see how many 9s will go into 24 without going over 24. So it's close to 24 without going over 24. This is just going over it, so therefore it will go in twice without going over. So that would be 2. That would be 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract it. Can't have 4 and take away 8, so you'd have to borrow. 14 minus 8 is 6 remaining. So therefore, you could have said 22 remainder 6, or you could have said 22 is the whole number, and then the remainder would be 6 over 9. So one of these 2 answers I would have accepted. Again, parents, don't teach them how to reduce this yet. It's too early for them to understand that, and I will be doing that later on. And plus, they won't even need to do it this year. They can keep it just like that, and that would be a correct answer for the state test. So that is why I'm not teaching them how to reduce that right now. All right, and then next, I want you to do 5 and 6. I will do number 7. I'll just do very quickly. I guess last year I didn't even do it last year, so I'm just going to do it very fast. Can 4 go into 1? No. Can it go into 18? Yes. It can go in 4 times. That would be 16, and that would be a 2. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 4s can go into 21? 4 can go into 21 5 times, because 5 times 4 is 20. That would be 1. Check it. We are okay. How many 4s can now go into 12? That would be 3 times. So 3 times 12, 3 times 4 is 12 with 0 remaining. So your answer is 453. All right, and then I'm going to give you another. I'm going to do this one with you. 6 can go in the divisor, and then this is your first number, your dividend. Can 6 go into 3? No. Can it go into 34? Yes. So how many 6s can go in as close to 34 without going over? That's going over, so we have to go to the one before it, and that is 5 times. So 6 times 5 is as close as you're going to get. That would be 30, the 4 remaining. Check it. We are okay. So now we can bring down our 7. How close can you get 7 to 40? So how many 6s can go into 47 without going over? So going by 6s to 47. Oh, this is so close, but it's over. So therefore, it only goes in 7 times. So that would be 7. And then that would be 42. Remaining, so 5 is the remainder of that. Then check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number. So then how many 6s will go into 56? So how many 6s will go as close to 56 as possible? So how many 6s will go into 56 as close as I can? It goes in 9 times. So that would be 9. 9 times 6 is 54 with 2 remaining. So therefore, you would say this remainder 2. Or you could have said 579 and 2/6. Because if you use the J method, it would be 2/6. So these are your 2 answers that I would have accepted, one or the other. You do not have to write both, one or the other. Next, I'm going to do 9 with you. The school theater department made $2,142 on ticket sales for 3 nights of their play. The department sold the same number of tickets each night, and each ticket cost $7. So how many tickets did the theater department sell each night? All right, so it says that it made this much for 3 nights. So first of all, we need to figure out that part. How much do they make a night? So then, because that's what our question is asking, is saying each night. So we need to figure out what each night is doing. So let's go ahead and divide that out. So that would be 2,142 divided amongst 3 nights. So if you did this, I'm just going to do this very quickly. That would go in 7 times, because that would be 21. Bring down your 4. How many 3s will go into 4? That is 1. That would be a 1. Bring down. How many 3s will go into 12? Would be 4. 4 times 3 is 12 with nothing remaining. So therefore, it means that they made $714 a night. So that is not the question, though. It's saying how many tickets were sold. So this is how much they made a night. And they said that each ticket cost $7. So now we have to take this amount and divide it 7 ways to find out how many tickets were sold. So now I'm going to take this and divide it by 7. Can 7 go into 7? Yes, 1 time. So then subtract it, then check it. We are good. Bring down. How many 7s can go into 1? It can't go in any time, so it'll be 0. 0 times 7 is 0. Subtract. That would be a 1. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 7s will go into 14? That will be 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14 with nothing remaining. So therefore, it would be 102 tickets. Okay, so you will be doing 10 for homework, and then we're going to come back over here. You are going to be doing them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. We are going to just quickly do, nope, sorry, we aren't doing this one at all because it's saying use the distributive property, which you do not need to do. All right, so then that is all you are going to be doing for this lesson. All right, I'm going to try and get in another lesson into this because it is the exact same thing that we were just talking about. The only thing is there is a bit of a change because they just want you to start learning the vocabulary of this. So this is truly what we are going to be doing. So I do have some notes real quick to show you on this before I start. Now, I will tell you that when you are putting this into a problem, this is truly the problem. Remember that that one that's in the box is always going to be listed first. And then the second number is always outside the box. So this is your problem. And now it's just written like this, okay? So now we got to figure out what the answer is. Well, I'm going to quickly just talk about this. This first number right here is called your dividend. So that is the correct vocabulary. The first number is always your dividend. And then your second number, it does also have a name. It is called the divisor. And then whatever you find here, up here as your answer, this is always going to be your quotient. A quotient means the answer to a division problem. And then down here is always going to be your remainder. So that is like just showing you the vocabulary of how to do this correctly. So this is just the beginning. What we should do first is I am going to do dead monkeys smell crazy bad again. We're going to find out the answer. So can 9 go into 2? No, it cannot. So therefore, we're going to slide it on over. Can 9 go into 27? Yes. It can go in 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. So then you subtract, that would be a 0. Check it. We are good. Is there a number to bring down? Yes. Remember, you can only bring down 1 at a time. So then how many 9s can go into 5? Well, 5 is too small. It can't even go in once. So therefore, we have to put in, it can go in 0 times. You always have to have a number. So if it can't go in at all, put down a 0. 0 times 9 is 0. Subtract it, that would be a 5. Check, we are good. So now we're going to bring down our next number. How many 9s go into 54? And that would be 6. So 6 times 9 is 54 with 0 as a remainder. Now, the next thing that I want you to know is that you are going to be asked how could you check this answer? So I'm just going to quickly go over that. In order to check it, I want you guys to write this. In order to check a problem, you have to do the following. You would take your quotient, which is your answer, remember? So I'm just going to write this in vocabulary terms. You would take your quotient and times it by your divisor. So you would take your quotient and times by your divisor first. And then if you do have a remainder, you would then add in your remainder. And then that will equal your dividend. So in this case, if we put this in, it would be 306 times 9 is our divisor. So you would just multiply these. And then if there's any remainder, which there is nothing, then you would just check it like that. And so when you do go and check it, you would have to multiply 306 times 9. Can 9 go into 6? 9 times 6 is 54, carry your 5. Then 9 times 0 is 0, plus 5 is 5. And then 9 times 3 is 27. And you would add in the remainder, which is 0. So then your answer will still be that number. And it is true. That is what the dividend is showing us. So therefore, our answer is correct. We just checked it. It came out to be the same numbers. So that is what you do when you are checking, because it's going to ask you today to check your answers. So here we go. We are just going to do another one. Division and multiplication or inverse operations. Remember, inverse means opposite. So inverse operations, oh, that's what it's just saying. Inverse operations are opposite operations that undo each other. You can use multiplication to check your division problem. So to check your answer to a division problem, you would multiply the quotient by the divisor. So that is what it's telling us to do. Here's our quotient times our divisor. So the answer times the divisor. And then if there is a remainder, add it to the product after you find out the product of this, the answer to a multiplication problem. Then you add it. And then that will give you your dividend. So in this case, they gave us this is the problem. So you would multiply this first. That would be 12, carry your 1. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And then 6 times 1 is 6. And then you add in a remainder. In this case, there was a remainder. So we should have times these two and then added the remainder. So when you add that, that should be 614. And that is exactly what we had. So therefore, it is correct. So therefore, the answer to that is 102, remainder 2. All right, now this one, they want to know what is the unknown number. Remember what I was saying earlier, like when there's a blank, they do start putting an N for it or a letter that just is a variable, just meaning it's unknown. So that's all it means. So they want to know, what would you do to figure this out? So they're telling you to figure out this number, you would just multiply these two to find out that missing number. So we're going to do that real quick. And then 7 times 3 is 21, carry your 2. That would be 42, plus 2 is 44. And that is your answer. Your unknown number should have been 441. Now they are saying the thing that is unknown is the N. So if you put it up into this type situation up here, you would, in order to find out what the remainder is you would put your dividend here, which is what it equals, would be 6 times 125 with a remainder of something. So then we would have to add in this. Well, just to save some time, because we can multiply this out, of course, but because my battery is almost dead, I am going to tell you it comes out to be 750 for this. Now, when you multiply these two and they come out to be 750, what else do you have to add it to get 752? So you should be saying, in order to make this equal or the same on both sides, it should have been a 2. So therefore, the remainder should have been a 2 in this case to make it true. So that is what you should have had. All right, now we're going to do some together. First, I'm going to, again, use dead monkeys smell crazy bad. And remember to bring it up. Now, they are saying to not just divide, but to also check your answer. So do keep that in mind. We are going to be checking our answer this time. So can 8 go into 6? No, it cannot. Can it go into 62? Yes. So how close to 62 is possible without going over 62? That's going over. So therefore, it will go in 7 times. And 7 times 8 is that 56. Can you have 2 cookies and give away 6? No, you cannot. So you have to borrow. And then 12 minus 6 is 6. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your 4. How many 8s will go into 64? That is 8. 8 times 8 is 64 with nothing remaining. So in order to check it, there is no remainder, so we don't have to add anything. So in order to check it, we would have to multiply these, and it should give us our 624, which was our original dividend. So let's do that off to the side and see if that comes out to be true. That would have been 64, carrier 6. This would be 56 plus 6 is 62, and it did give us 624, which is our original dividend. All right, now this one, can 4 go into 3? No, it cannot. How about into 32? Yes, that goes in 8 times. That would be 32, 0 remaining. Check it, we are okay. Bring down a 2. How many 4s can go into 2? That is 0 times. It's too small. 0 times 4 is 0, and that would be a 2. Check it, we are okay. Bring down our next number. Now, how many 4s can go into 20? That would be 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20 with no remaining, no remainder. So therefore, in order to check this, remember, you would do 4 times 105 and then add any remainder, but there was no remainder, so we should just be doing 805 times 4, and it should give us our dividend of 3,220. So I'm going to check this real quick. That would be 20. Carry your 2. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. And then 4 times 8 is 32. And was that our same dividend? Yes, it was. So therefore, we checked our answer. It is correct. All right, the next one. Can 4 go into 1? No. Can it go into 10? Yes. Twice. That would be an 8. Subtract. That would be 2. Check it. We are okay. So then bring down your 2. How many 4s will go into 22? That would be, that would go in 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Then you subtract, that would be a 2. Check it. We are okay. So then you bring down your next number, which is a 7. Now, how many 4s will get as close to 27 without going over 27? That is going over, so it goes in 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24 with, oh, we got a remainder now with 3 remaining. So again, in order to check this, you would do 256 times the divisor, which is 4. And then we would do that first. And then when we are done, then we add in our remainder. which is a plus 3. So let's go ahead and do that off to the side over here. So that would be 24, carrier 2. This would be 20 plus 2 is 22, carrier 2. This is 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Then after we have that, it did not match because we forgot this is only the answer to this multiplication problem, but now we have to add in 3 more. So if you add 3 more, it would be a 7, a 2, a 0, and a 1. So did that give us 1,027? Yes, it did. So we got that one to be right. All right, now what I want you guys to do is to go ahead and pause the video again. Now the nice thing here, it just tells us to divide. So you don't have to check your answer. They just want to know whether you can understand how to divide again. So I'm actually going to change this up, and I actually want you to do, I want you to check 1, just so I can understand whether you understood that or not. I want you to check just this first one. So I'm going to change up the directions here. I want you to check this one. So do pause it and try these on your own and make sure that you're just checking for this one. And then we'll see if you got this right. So please pause it now. Okay, so you should have done these problems and you should have checked your answer here. So I'm just going to do this very quickly because you should have already have done it. So 6 can go into 9 one time. That would be 6. That would be a 3. Check it, we are good. So then we have a 3 down here. How many 6s can go into 33? You should have said 5 because it goes in 30. That would be 3. Check it, we are good. Bring down your 8. How many 6s will go into 38? You should have said 6 because that would have been 36, and there should have been a 2 remaining. So in order to check this, again, this is remainder 2. So remember, you should have multiplied these 2 and then added your 2. So we'll do that real fast. 156 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Carry your 3. This is 30 plus 3 is 33. Carry your 3. Then 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. And then you, of course, are not going to come out to the same number because you need to. Last thing is to add in your remainder. So that would be an 8, a 3, and a 9. So it did come back to be the correct thing. Next, can 4 go into 7? Yes, one time. That would be a 3. Check it. We are good. Bring down your 6. How many 4s can go into 36? That would go in 9 times. That would be 36. Subtract, that would be 0. Check it. We are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 4s will go into 2? That is 0. So 0 times 4 is 0 with 2 remaining. So therefore, your answer should have been 190 remainder 2, or 190 and 2 over 4 would have been your J method. All right, next, just to make this go faster because my phone is ready to die on me and I do want to finish this. So if you did this, you should have gotten 1,884, and in order to check it, you should have done this times 3. So these 2, you should have multiplied and then added 2, and it does give you your answer again. Then here, you should have put this in. It would have been 93. You could have said remainder 3, sorry, 59, remainder 3, or you could have said 59 and 3/8. And if you did do it, which you weren't supposed to, you would have found out that yes, it did work out when you did 59 times 8 and then plus the 3. All right, now down here, it is wanting to know first to find the value of n, and then it wants to know what n represents in the division problem. So we're going to talk about that. when you are multiplying these two numbers, what is it going to give you? So if you went over here and you were looking up, when there's two numbers and you multiply them, what you are trying to find is the dividend. So n is going to be your dividend in this case. That is what the n is. It is the dividend. So now we're going to find the dividend by multiplying these two numbers. So if you did that, that would be 32, carry your 3. That would be 20 plus 3 is 23. So therefore, the n here equals 232. Again, you're going to be finding the n, and you're going to have to tell me what that n is in the division problem. So when you are adding something, that is your remainder. So here we are trying to find the n is going to be a remainder. And now in order to do it, we would have to sit here and multiply it. Just because of time and my phone is going to die on me, you would multiply that. It comes out to be 588 plus the unknown number is going to equal 589. So 588 plus what will give us 589? Well, you should have said 1 should have been there. So therefore, n equals the 1, and it was the remainder of this. Now we're just going to quickly go over this again. If you looked here, in this case, what was the equal sign? The equal sign would have been your dividend. So in this case, that is what we would need to find. How we would do that is we would multiply this first, which came out to be 335. Then you would add 3 more, and that would be 338 would be n. So that is what your answer should have been. All right, now going over here. Again, my phone is so ready to die on me, so I'm going to try and get as much done as I can before it shuts me off. Here, I want you to do this real fast. It says, if the welcome gold nugget were turned into 3 equal-sized gold bricks, how many troy ounces would each brick weigh? So if you came over here, it says just the welcome nugget, not the welcome stranger nugget. So be careful of that. So the welcome nugget was 2,217, and then you're going to divide it into 3 equal pieces. So you should be writing here. So if I did this very quickly, again, using dead monkeys smell crazy bad, I am going to do that. Can 3 go into 2? No. Can it go into 21? Yes, that would be 7 times. That would be 21. When you subtract, that would be 1. Check it. You are okay. So then how many 3s will go into, if you brought down that 1 down, you should have. So it would be an 11. How many 3s can go into 11? That would be 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. That would be a 2. Check it. We are okay. So then we can bring down our 7. How many 3s will go into 27? You should have said 9. 9 times 3 is 27 with nothing remaining. So therefore, we should have had 739 troy ounces per brick. Okay, now this one I am not going to do, so you can cross that one out. But we are going to do this one. Suppose the Willard gold nugget was turned into 4 equal-sized gold bricks. And if one of the bricks were sold, how many troy ounces will this Willard nugget be left? All right, so we're going to look at the Willard, which is 788, and then we're going to divide it amongst 4 to figure out what each gold brick weighed in ounces. So we're going to come over here. It would be 4 into 788. That would go in once. That would be a 4. Subtract it. That would be 3. Check it. We are okay. So then that would be 8. How many 4s will go into 38? That would be 9 times. That would be 36 with a 2. check it, we are okay. So then bring down your 8. How many 4s will go into 28? That should have been a 7. 7 times 4 is 28 with nothing remaining. So therefore, each brick, so one brick is 197 ounces, 197 troy ounces. Okay, so if it is 197 troy ounces for each brick, the thing is over here, it says, what if one of the bricks were sold? So how much would it then that Willard nugget be left? So the Willard nugget, remember, is 788. And if you sold one of the bricks, that means you sold off 197 ounces. So you would have to subtract that off to figure out how much would be left. So 8 minus 7 is 1. 8 cookies minus 9, you can't do that. So you have to come over here. 18 minus 9 is 9, and then 6 minus 1 is 5. So therefore, there would be 591 troy ounces left. Okay, so that is the answer to that one. Next, there are 246 students going on a field trip to Pan for Gold. If they are going in vans that hold 9 students each, how many vans are needed? And how many students will ride in a van that is not full? All right, so I'm gonna do that work over here. I'm gonna try and make some space. So this is 246 students, and each one will hold only 9. So go into 2, no it cannot. Go into 24, yes, twice. That would be 18. When you subtract that, 4 minus 8, you can't do that. So that would be a 6. Check it, we are okay. Bring down your next number. How many 9s will go into 66? That would be 7 times. That would be 63 with 3 students left over. So therefore, that would be 27 buses, but then 3 students are left over. So are you going to tell those 3 students they can't go on a field trip because you did not get into it evenly and have a full bus? No, you cannot do that. So therefore, this is going to force you to have 28 buses. You're going to have to go get another bus for those 3 students. So therefore, you would need a total of 28 buses so that everyone can go. And then how many students would be on that van that is not full? Oh, sorry, we're talking about vans, my fault. So that is a van. And then how many would be in that one? There would only be 3 students left on that one. All right, now I want you to try number 23 on your own. Try placing these correctly into its correct places. What is this one? What is this one? What is this one? So put these words into it. And then up here, I want you just to say real quick, it says, then using the vocabulary, explain how she can check whether her quotient was correct. So go ahead and pause this and try this on your own. All right, so if you paused it and did what I had asked you to do, this is the correct answer. The quotient is always the one that is your answer up at the top of this division problem. So that is your quotient. Quotient means answer to a division problem. This is your dividend, and then this is always your divisor. So how can you tell them how to do this? Well, you could say take the quotient and multiply it by the divisor, and then that should equal the dividend. So these two, you could have multiplied these to equal your dividend is what you could have said. All right, now I am going to give you your homework. Your homework, again, you can use dead monkeys smell crazy bad if you still need the steps to help you. Make sure you show your work. Very important. You have a lot of space in between here, so you can just simply do it right in there. And then the other thing is, if it's not saying to check. So I do want you to say check on some of these. So please make sure you do that. You are going to do number 2 and number 3. And I do want you to check on these. So what I want you to do is rewrite it down here so you have more space. And then I want you to say check. And I want you to show me how you would check your answer down below there. And then I want you to do the same thing here. 278 divided by 2. And then I want you to check your answer again right here. So check that there. Then we're going to do this one together. So that would be 7 is on the outside, 336 that's on the inside. 7 cannot go into 3, but it can go into 33 4 times. That would be 28. Can you have 3 cookies and give away 8? No, you cannot. So you would come over and borrow. When you subtracted that, that would be a 5. Check it. We are okay. So bring down your 6. How many 7s will go into 56? It would be 8. 8 times 7 is 56 with nothing remaining. So your answer is 48. And how would you check it? You would do 48 times 7, and then add the remainder, which the remainder would be a 0. So in this case, you wouldn't have to use that part. So this part should just come out to be 336 if we did it correctly. So that would be 56, carry your 5. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 5 is 33. So it does work out. All right, now, again, they want you to not just find the value of n, but they want you to also write what n represents in the division problem. So keep that in mind. So I want you to do number 5. Number 6 and number 7 I'm going to do with you. Now they're giving you an n. Remember, is a plus and then the n. Well, when you're adding something, remember up here, when you add something, it is always your remainder. So in this case, that n is the remainder. So how you do that is you multiply these two numbers and then add in your n. So 160 times 4. That would be a 0. That would be 24. Carry your 2. This is 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is 640 so far. So keep that in mind, 640 plus what number, what unknown number is going to give us 643? Well, you should be saying, oh, it needs to be a 3 to make that 643, and you are correct. So it should have been a 3. All right, next, they wanted you to find out what this was. Well, when you're finding out all of this, you could go back to that previous page over here. When you're finding out all of that, it is truly the dividend is what you're finding at the very end of it. So in this one, it is the dividend. So you need to put that there, and now we're going to be multiplying. Just because of time again, if I did multiply this out, this would come out to be 210. But you would plus the 4 to get your final answer, and that would be 214 is what n would equal in this case. All right, so you are going to do 8 and 9, and you are not going to be doing 10. If you need any more space, you can always do it down here, but you better show your work on all of these. And then on the back, you are going to be doing them all as well. So I'm going to just have you circle all of these. All right. So that is what you are going to be doing there. I'm going to have to stop this. So I will start up a new one as soon as I am done. So I will stop right here, guys, and I'll get back with you because my phone is on its way to die. So see you in a little bit. Bye.